Hello, welcome back to this channel. This is Carla Chu, and today I'm going to share to you the lessons I've learned in my 20s so far. So I'm still 27 years old, and there's so many things or topics that I really want to talk about. There are so many lessons that I really want to share, and I just can't make a full-length video out of it, so I decided to make a capsule video wherein I summarize all the points and issues that I wanted to share, or all the lessons that I wanted to share to you guys. So this video would talk about the lessons that I've learned in my 20s so far. Don't be fixated with someone's accent. So I noticed that Filipinos put English language at the pedestal because they think that it is a measurement of intelligence, or it indicates someone else's economic background. So most Filipinos make fun of a thick accent. They call it Carabao accent. I used to laugh at it before because I was ignorant, but now I don't really care about accents in general because I think it indicates someone's culture or background. And we tend to associate thick accent as someone who is poor or uneducated. And I think it's very classist in its core. And I also think that it is not right to discriminate someone based on his economic status. Not everyone has the privilege to grow up in a community where speaking English is encouraged. Sexuality is not a personality. I noticed that we put a certain standard on how a person should act based on his gender or sexual preference. Like, women should be vulnerable and pure, men should be virile and brusque, and gays should be flamboyant and loud. And I just think it's stupid because every individual have different hobbies and interests. So someone's sexuality is just a part of who he or she is. People seem to expect or pressure people to act based on their sexuality, and I think it's just shallow and annoying. Not everything is a competition. At such a young age, we're exposed to competition and comparison, and people constantly outdo one another. And I was also competitive in some ways until I got tired of it. I realized that I can always do things for myself and not because I wanted to compete with another person. And it's also much satisfying to constantly outdo yourself. Personally, I find highly competitive people as nosy and intense. Like, life isn't a competition. We don't need to think of ourselves seriously most of the time, and there are always people who are better than you. And to be honest, I don't really see anyone as competition, and I like to play on my own league. You don't need everything. Speaking about doing others, I noticed that some of us like to keep up with the Joneses. We tend to buy things just because others have it, and I think this mentality is toxic. You can always decide on what you want and what you need. Just because others have it doesn't mean that you also need it or want it. I've seen a lot of people struggling to get by because the fear of being left out overcomes rational thinking. Right now, before I buy something, I always make it sure that it is something that I want or need. Identifying what you want or need should align with your interests or values. Buy things you actually like. So when you go out shopping and you find an item that you really like, I suggest that you should buy it. Because finding an alternative is good, but don't ever shortchange yourself. It would just lead to you being not contented, and when you're not contented, you tend to buy a lot of things just to fill in that discontentment. If it's out of your budget, you don't really need to buy it immediately. You can always go back, and if it's still around, then it's yours, and if it's not, then it's not really for you. But this wouldn't apply if you really need to buy something, because you need to find an alternative if you cannot buy the things that you actually need. Invest on things that you actually use. Before, I used to buy a lot of clothes for going out, and I realized that I had enough already, and I came across this idea that you should buy things that you actually use every day, like a good pillow, a smartphone, or a comfortable sleepwear. Right now, I buy nice clothes for the office. Before, I used to think that there is nothing that I should be dressing up for in the office. As I thought of it, I spend most of the time in the office, and wearing nice clothes and using good pens are forms of self-care. You don't need to wait for the weekend to dress up nicely and enjoy life. Hi guys, thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, you can click the like button and subscribe. You can comment anything that you want to share or the things that you want to add on the topic that I have discussed. You should also comment on what topics you think I can talk about or topics that might interest me, because I'm also willing to really talk about a lot of topics and probably I just can't get it out on my head at the moment. So thank you and goodbye. Bye bye.